Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Pitch Talk.
We are fans of football dropping vlogs, blogs, videos and podcasts on the beautiful game.
Check out our videos on YouTube and Instagram's IGTV,
including special feature segments, vlogs such as
5 Minutes with the G,
the Straight Shootin View,
Coaching with JBK,
audio on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts,
Podomatic, Spotify,
Mixcloud
and other podcast platforms.
Join the Pitch Talk revolution on Twitter, Instagram,
Facebook
and our official website www.pitch-talk.com.
The pitch is where we eat,
the pitch is where we sleep,
and the pitch is where we talk.
I can see you now. I can see you now and then. I can see you now.
Welcome to
the Straight Shootin View.
Hey everybody, what is up? My name is Straight Shootin LJA and welcome to another episode of the Straight Shootin View. Now, one thing I want to talk about, it's not about my club, but it's actually about Chelsea Football Club. And I'm going to kind of not necessarily step on Coach JBK's toes, coaching with JBK being all about the women's game and coaching, but I wanted to kind of tackle this point about Sam Kerr. Now, Sam Kerr, Chelsea Ladies player, and recently, during a Women's Champions League game between Chelsea and Juventus, a pitch invader ran onto the pitch and was literally just kind of ambling his way around. No stewards in sight. I'm going to get more on that later. And Sam Kerr saw this guy walking around, basically holding up the game, causing a nuisance, and she went and essentially shoulder tackled him and flattened him. Dude dropped like a sack of crap to the ground. So the stewards then eventually intervened after a few seconds, and then Sam Kerr got booked for it. Lot to unpack there. Now let's start with the pitch invader. Now this moron has apparently been banned by Chelsea, and good, should be a lifetime ban, because at the end of the day, pitch invasions, whether it be by an individual or by a group, and we've talked about this on Pitch Talk live shows before, especially when there was an incident during a Newcastle Stevenage game, an FA Cup game of like years ago, where I think it was one of the Stevenage players actually was physically assaulted. So imagine that. That's a possibility. That could happen. But that was a mass pitch invasion with a lot of people. But this was one person who just literally just strolled onto the pitch, was just ambling his way around, and the stewards were a day late and $1 short. Now, one thing that obviously was a concern was Sam Kerr. She kind of took actions into her own hands. And to be honest, she actually could have taken her life into her own hands, because one of the major concerns with this, as funny as it was that she shoulder tackled him and he dropped like a sack of crap, you never know. If this guy is moronic enough to invade the pitch, he could be carrying something. He could have been. I think the guy was a teenager, but it's one of them ones. It doesn't matter. The fact that this guy's been stupid enough to invade the pitch, he could easily have been carrying something. So there's so much risk involved. And would UEFA have stepped up if something had happened? Would UEFA have gone, oh well, we need to protect the players, da 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 da? And it's like, no, you shouldn't be allowing this to happen. And as I said, the stewards took so long to react. And you could hear people in the background. If you see the footage, it's one of them where it's like all you hear is this, that. A lot of expletives, because the guy was holding up the game. This idiot was holding up the game. But as said, there was a major potential risk there with Sam Kerr. Now, if something untoward had happened, what would Chelsea have done? What would UEFA have done? I'm guessing UEFA would have done nothing. Chelsea would have been fuming. UEFA would have done nothing. But as said, apparently this fan has actually been banned from the club. But there's an underlying issue here. And those stewards, for me, they were slacking. So they should at least be reprimanded, if not fired. Because that is why stewards are supposed to be there, to stop that happening. And if it does happen, if someone does run onto the pitch, you need to be breaking your neck, making sure that they don't get to the players. Because as I said, Stevenage Newcastle years ago, where a player was actually physically assaulted. And remember, this was a Women's Champions League match as well. So it's one of them where it's like, hey, credit Sam Kerr for the bravery, but it was a risky move. But I said, the bigger issue is definitely player safety. And it seems like at times the powers that be don't care until something happens. And something serious could have happened there. Glad it didn't, but it very easily could have. And the powers that be, like UEFA, need to be stamping this out and saying, you know what, like, this fan, lifetime ban from every football ground. Because if you're stupid enough to do it in one ground, you're stupid enough to do it at others. And we can't be taking that gamble. Because as I said, that guy could have been carrying something. That guy could have been carrying anything. Even if they do like bag searches and stuff like that, people find other ways to smuggle stuff into grounds. Whether it be cameras, whether it be food, whether it be whatever. It's like comedy shows. The fact that at comedy shows they take your phones, but you could still pretty easily get a phone into a comedy performance. So it's even so. I said security. No security is absolute. So I said, where my angle is with this is all about player safety, and the fact is, player safety is no laughing matter. And I said, if something serious had happened, then what would the powers that be have done to basically, well, you'd be fighting from underneath, because the incident would have already taken place. You have to be, in these kind of situations, you have to be proactive, not reactive. Because reactive, well, I said Sam Kerr could easily, or any of the other players could easily have been physically assaulted. And the fact that Sam Kerr got a yellow card for it, for what she did, it's like, well, that's the kind of decision that gives referees a bad name. Because that's just such a stupid decision. It's like in the wrestling business, we've seen a lot of people jump the guardrail and get into the ring, and they usually get their heads kicked in for it. Bash at the Beach 1996, a fan tried to jump in after Hogan had turned heel. A fan tried to jump in and attack the outsiders, Scott Hall and Kevin Nash, and Hogan, he got a swift boot to the face from Scott Hall. 2002. Eddie Guerrero versus Rob Van Dam in a ladder match, I think for the Intercontinental title on an episode of WWF Raw at that point. And it was one of them was some guy came in, pushed over the ladder whilst Eddie Guerrero was on it, and Guerrero went after him and tried to beat the crap out of him. So it's one of them where it's like, but them guys, neither of those guys got penalised, because at the end of the day, they didn't get docked pay or anything like that. Because at the end of the day, that invader of the wrestling ring shouldn't have been there in the first place. Shouldn't have been there. You're taking things into your own hands. And remember, if you go onto a football pitch, that's actually trespassing, and I think you can actually be arrested for that. So it's one of them was for Sam Kerr to get booked. Let's hope. I'm hoping that gets wiped off and rescinded. Because you wait for, like, you can't, it's one of them where it's like, Sam Kerr was probably, like, the way she did it, she was like, so you can see her just standing there like, all right, come on, mate, hurry up. Come on, we've got a game to play, hurry up, come on. And then she just got tired with it and just went, bam, shouldered him. it's like, come on, like, you stop, he's literally interrupted the game for literally no reason. So it's one of them where it's just absurd that she got booked. But as I said, it exposes that underlying issue where you got to get better people doing the stewarding and people who react a lot quicker. Because as I said, the stewards took ages to react. But anyway, how important do you think player safety is? Do you think stewards need to be doing a better job of marshalling individuals and making sure individuals don't get on the pitch? And if one does, do they need to react quicker? Because there could be potential flashpoints. As mentioned, there have been some historical ones as well, where fans have gotten on the pitch and it's not turned out very well. There's the legal ramifications. There's liability issues as well. But what do you think? Comment section is below. www.pitch-talk.com is the official website. You can catch our podcast there. Go to the podcast page and you can grab the RSS feed. And also you can listen live on the website as well. Remember, youtube.com/Pitch Talk is where you can find all of our videos, including our special feature segments and much more. Facebook.com/Pitch Talk. Become a fan, become a friend, become a member of the group. Join the footballing revolution. We are working so hard to create. At Pitch Talk on Twitter. Tweet with us, follow us, see what we're up to. At Pitch Talk on Instagram as well. We're also on Reddit. At Pitch Talk on Reddit as well. Remember, you can find our podcasts on our website. You can also find them on Verbal, VURBL.com. Verbal, at Get Verbal on Twitter. Follow them and tell them we sent you, because we're verbal ambassadors and proud of it. Also, you can find us on Podomatic, Podbean, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts. Wherever you pick up your podcast, you can find the Pitch Talk podcast there as well. We got material coming, new content coming, and that's all I got to say about that. You know what I said? I have been Straight Shootin LJA, and until next time on the Straight Shootin View, thank you for your time. See you later, peeps. It's chilly out here. I've got to get my gloves back on. Woo! See you later.
Join the Pitch Talk revolution.
Check out the official Pitch Talk website,
www.pitch-talk.com.